think the Ravens are the biggest winners in the AFC North this offseason?
This is a team that consistently is going to be in position to contend because of how talented they are. The reality of it is those guys can play.
The AFC should watch out for the Baltimore Ravens this season.
Players in the NFL, certainly one of the best players at quarterback. They got a guy at tailback in J.K. Dobbins, who I think could be an all-pro. They got one of the best tight ends in football, a plethora of perimeter weapons, some health on the offensive line, a very good defensive line, one of the better young linebackers in the NFL, and a top 5 secondary. And no one talks about it.
Yo, what it is? Welcome to the first episode of At the Bank, a Baltimore Ravens podcast, Doug's. Yo, and I am your host, Dev, you feel me? I'm going to be here giving you all updated news for the Baltimore Ravens, you feel me? So, one of the news I want to start with today is the Lamar Jackson deal. We finally got our quarterback signed for 5 years, you feel me? So, I'm going to give my opinion on that, and I'm also going to give my grade and my opinion on this year NFL draft. I can't wait to talk about that, you feel me? So, let's talk about our quarterback, Lamar, you feel me? He is finally locked up into a 5-year deal. That's $260 million, $52 million a year, $185 million guaranteed. Like, yes, finally, my God, like the Ravens finally did something, man, and I'm so pumped that the Ravens did something, man. I was so pumped when Lamar did this news right here, man.
You know, for the last few months, there's been a lot of he say, she say, a lot of nail biting, a lot of head scratching going on. But for the next 5 years, it's a lot of flock going on. Let's go, baby. Let's go, man. Can't wait to get there. Can't wait to be there. Can't wait to light up M&T for the next 5 years, man. Let's get it.
And that's dope. You feel me? And I was so pumped when I seen that video and when I seen that news came across my ticker, man. And I was like, yes, finally. You know, I could finally put my Lamar Jackson post up and all that, man, because it had me a little worried for a minute, man. Because like you said, it was nail biting, it was back and forth, and it finally happened. And it was frustrating. For that month and a half, 2 months, man, it felt like it was years of back and forth bickering between Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm not going to say bickering, but I'm going to say misunderstanding. You feel me? And for them to have this misunderstanding for a long period of time, because me personally, I've been said lock Lamar up 2 years ago. We shouldn't have been down here this far. He should be already 2 years into his 5-year contract already, in my opinion. But you know, like EDC said, it takes a long time, and those who wait always have the good things that come to them. You feel me? And it was a long time coming, you know, and I just couldn't believe it, man. And well, I could believe it because we wanted him as a fan base, and I'm pretty sure Eric DeCosta, John Harbaugh, and Bisciotti wanted Lamar also. But it at times it did felt like. What are you doing? Why are we doing this? What's taking so long? Like it shouldn't be this much hassle to sign our franchise quarterback, the face of our organization. Why is it taking this so long? And like I said, it finally happened, man. And the NFL has been buzzing. As soon as he made that deal that he is the highest paid player in the league now, and like Jalen Hurts contract didn't even last a week, you feel me? And for him to do it without an agent, that we got to put some respect on Lamar's name, man. As him being an agent, he did what he was supposed to accomplish, what he set to accomplish, and that was most definitely get his fully guaranteed contract, what he was trying to get. You know, everybody kept on saying, "Oh, he wanted Deshaun Watson money, and if he's dumb and he shouldn't be representing himself. This is out of his league. He should be having an agent doing this and all that." He's been doing what Lamar Jackson has been doing his whole entire career. Is this checking off boxes that everything that everybody say that he can't do. And he's doing it. He's doing it. And you see Jalen Hurts' agent, you know what I mean? She was like, well, it felt good to have the highest paid contract for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly what it felt like for her. You know what I mean? She was sitting on top, and I had gave her roses before on multiple different platforms. You feel me? And I respect what she did for Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts most definitely deserved of what he received. But Lamar, our MVP, most definitely deserved to be the highest paid player in the NFL. Deservingly, arguably. Now, the team that's been built around Lamar, you feel me? It's a superb team. It's a high-powered team, in my opinion. A high-powered team that us Ravens fans not really used to having. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have spurts of different positions at different times. Like we had a Dark Mason with a little bit of Tar Heat. But it was Dark Mason's incline of his career. And Tar Heat was pretty much, injury prone in and out. Then we had the Anquan Bold and the Torrey Smith with the Dennis Pitta. But Dennis Pitta was out. And then, Anquan Bolden was pretty much just he was the guard after that Super Bowl run. And then Torrey Smith, he really wasn't a true number one wide receiver, in my opinion. Now to bring in these guys, for bringing in OBJ. Now, I understand that OBJ is not who he used to be. And I'm not saying OBJ should be who he used to be. We would like for him to be who he used to be. But understand, like, age and what he did years ago, I'm not bringing him as a number one wide receiver. I understand, like, yes, he has wide receiver potential, number one wide receiver potential. Yes, he can still be that guy. But to rely on him a lot this year, I'm not really relying on OBJ a lot this year. Will OBJ make a impact in the Ravens offense? Yes, because of his name, because of his skill set that he can provide. And it's most definitely now open up things more for Mark Andrews, because that's the guy. That's our guy. That's our number one wide receiver, and has been the number one wide receiver in the tight end position for the last couple of years. It's Mark Andrews. And then we can do anything possibly to keep Mark Andrews open and keep him available, is to bring in some more help outside. And I think that's what OBJ is going to do, is most definitely he's going to bring in some tough catches. He's most definitely going to bring in some big games. But I'm not expecting him to play every game this year. I expect him to play maybe about 14 games this year. Hopefully, not do so on injury. But I'm pretty sure, football is a physical contact sport. And I'm pretty sure that he might get a little dinged up, a little nicked up. But I'm just banking on that he's not going to have a hard injury. Now, if he don't have a hard injury, man, OBJ, I believe, can set at least about 50 to 70 catches to at least about 500 to 700 yards. That's what I'm projecting for OBJ. I'm not expecting him to be 1,000-yard wide receiver. Can he be a 1,000-yard wide receiver? I'm pretty sure he can be, but why do that when you got a young Rashard Bateman? Hopefully he can come back and be healthy, and that can be our number one wide receiver. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to get a lot of targets, but for him to have more targets and maybe more catches and receptions than OBJ, yes, I can see that. Now, he's not going to have more catches and receptions than Mark Andrews. I don't foresee that. But if we can get Rashard Bateman at least at that 700 yards and maybe let's say about 80 catches, I think that will be a decent year for Rashard Bateman, because like I said, Mark Andrews is going to most definitely have 100 catches in my opinion and 1,000 yards. So if you can get Bateman at around 700 and you can get OBJ around 500 to 700, that's good money. That'd be good money. And then you still got Nelson Aguilar that also we brung in this year. And I'm not saying that. I understand a lot of people saying Nelson Aguilar is not a big, sexy name, and a lot of teams probably would pass up on him. But I think bringing him in and him solidifying that slot position a little bit, that third wide receiver having locked down, that can be him or Duvernay. We can't sleep on Duve. You feel me? And those two, if you're going to rely on Duvernay to play a lot of your special teams, I think bringing in Nelson Aguilar is a good fit for us. You don't have to use Duvernay as much as we did in the previous years. I believe that's one of the main reasons how he got hurt last year. Is because we were using him on both sides of the ball a lot, as far as special teams and offense. So you bring in Aguilar and Duvernay, they can juggle up maybe 500 catches together. You know, I'm sorry, not 500. That's a lot of catches, you feel me? But if they can at least come up to 60 catches together, you know what I mean, 30 and 30, you know, I'm not, because I believe they're going to be part of the offense, but they're not going to be the big part of the offense. But if you can get about 60 catches together with those two, I think that's a productive year. And then if you can average around 500 yards out of those two receivers, that's a productive year. I think that now that the offense is like, who do you play? How do you play this offense? And then to mention that we drafted Zay Flowers this year, who is going to be, I think he's going to have a lot of home runs this year. Now, I will get to him once I start talking about the draft, but he has a lot of similarities of a lot of wide receivers we drafted a couple years ago. Now, the only similarities he don't have is maybe the injury bug coming out of college. But let's get to the positive and what potentially can happen for Zay Flowers this year. And I think that he's going to have a big splash in the offense. I think Zay Flowers is going to be the guy. I'm not going to say that he is going to be a game changer or the top guy this year. That's not going to happen. But he's going to have big explosive plays. He's going to have the defense maybe not playing as close up on them. They're going to have to respect his speed and respect what he can bring to the table. So I expect Zay Flowers to at least bring in about 40 catches and maybe about 400 yards. I'm not expecting him to have a big year, but I am expecting him to be explosive here and there in certain key games. I really believe that the Zay Flowers will be something special this year. Now, I done talked all passing. We cannot forget about our run game, that we also have J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. You feel me? Those guys most definitely, J.K. Dobbins is a 1,000-yard rusher. Healthy. I believe this year is his year that he's going to get over 1,000 yards. He's most definitely going to get over 100 carries. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he's most definitely going to see over 1,000 yards, and he's going to get over 5 touchdowns this year. I see that in J.K. Dobbins. I think J.K. Dobbins he's going to be our workhorse. And him coming back healthy after his knee injury, we're going to need that. That's going to be the balance of this offense attack. Is the long as that we have a good running game and we stick to who we are, is that ground and pound team. You know what I mean? Don't get too cute with the passing, because that's how Greg Roman kind of got himself out of there. It's like you couldn't do the basic plays for passing. And that's what killed Lamar and us last year and the previous years, is that you get too cute for your kind. My man always used to say, all this cute get your gadgets. It ain't going to be but so cute so long, especially in NFL, that are going to adjust to what's going on in this league. These teams and these pro players watch and study film game after game after game to figure out how to beat this offense. Now, don't get me wrong. What Greg Roman also did was that ground and pound. It will pound you enough that you don't want to tackle. You be gassed out a little bit more when it comes down to that ground and pound. So this year with Todd Monken, I think it's going to be a little bit different, but he can most definitely not forget about that ground and pound. Now, what I'm expecting out of Lamar and Todd Monken this year is that keep Lamar healthy. That's the number one thing that we all want to talk about is Lamar health. You feel me? And I think if we can most definitely keep Lamar healthy, it's a lot of things that can come about. And also, what I expect out of this Todd Monken system is that Lamar finally reaches 4,000 passing yards, or at least close to 4,000 passing yards. I'm hoping that this will lead him to a 4,000 passing yard season with all the talent that we have, because he spoke on the talent also and when in the press conference.
Oh man, I'm very eager. I'm very eager, Cliff. To be honest with you, I think I told someone, like, man, I want to throw for like 6,000 yards with the weapons we have. Like, and I'm not a individual award type of guy or a stat watcher. I just want to do that. Because no one ever done it. And I feel like we have the weapons to do it. We got explosive guys. And like Coach said, Nelson, the new addition, Zay, OBJ, and we got Bateman gonna be 100% healthy. Dude gonna be healthy. So it's gonna. Can't forget about Mark. I can't forget about my boy Mark. And likely. So it's just can't wait to get rolling.
So he pretty much is expecting. He wants to go 6,000 passing yards. I don't know about that. I would love to see him do that, but 4,000 is a start. It's the goal that I believe that Lamar should most definitely try to reach. It's 4,000 passing yards. And I think that once he reached 4,000 passing yards, they would now have to take away some of the critics that they always been saying about Lamar. You feel me? So, and another thing is, like I said, keep that ground pound game going. If you just keep that run game sturdy and keep it balanced, that's also can play a good part in Lamar being healthy. You know what I mean? Now, I also don't see a lot of Lamar doing a lot of runs. You know what I mean? Especially how Greg Roman used to set him up. I don't foresee that this year. Now, is we going to see Lamar scrambling and running around a little bit? Yes, because like in the press conference said, John Harbaugh said in the press conference earlier, is that Lamar has the IQ of sometimes he know when to play Lamar ball. You feel me? And it takes those scrambles to be who Lamar is and to be the great player that he is. Now, like I said, Greg Roman had designed runs for Lamar. I don't think Todd Monken is going to have too many design runs for Lamar. It's like he might hit you with a few, especially on that goal line if it's going to be a quarterback sneak. Yes, but design runs, I don't think that's going to be like that too much for Lamar this year. In my opinion, I don't see Lamar getting nowhere near 1,000 yards rushing this year. I honestly see Lamar will be at a 600 rushing yard, no higher than that. I think that this is the year that we're going to be focusing and seeing a lot of his passing and his maturity of him read coverages in the pocket. That's just my opinion, because like Lamar said, man, he came here for one goal. And if y'all don't remember, here's what he said.
I want to be a Raven. Like I said something 2018, I think it was April 26th, if I'm not mistaken. And I meant that. I'm standing on that until I get it done. So I really wanted to get this done before anything, before my time up and branch off somewhere else. I really want to finish my career here and win the Super Bowl here. I'm looking forward to being a Raven.
What are they getting?
Everything out of me. They're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Yeah. Believe that.
And we got 5 more years to see, are we going to get this Super Bowl out of Lamar, man? Because in my opinion, I do see a Super Bowl. It's not just me being a biased fan. It's just that the way how the Ravens set this up this year, the way how the team that we are setting up, I believe we can make a deep run with the team that we have now that we got our quarterback drama situated and all in the past. All in the past. My man is ready to light this M&T Bank Stadium up for 5 more years. I'm pretty sure, and I'm hoping that it's going to be more than these next 5 years. But I'm pretty sure that these next 5 years, man, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. So like he said, get y'all popcorn ready, man. This is what we've been waiting for. M&T Bank is going to be rocking, you feel me? And I cannot wait, you know what I mean, for the flashing lights and Lamar going in the end zone, or any Raven going in the end zone at the bank this year, you feel me? So I cannot wait, man. We also had an NFL draft this past week that we just went through. And I think we did okay in our draft. I can see some fit and how and why we drafted some of these players. But I also got a lot of questions on certain players. You feel me? And like I said, it's no disrespect to the Ravens organization or into these college players, but it's just a little question that I have. You feel me? And let's start off with round one. Round one, we went out and grabbed the wide receiver, and the wide receiver that we drafted is Zay Flowers out of Boston College. Now, like I told y'all, I see a lot of similarities in Zay Flowers, that a wide receiver that we drafted previous years, which is Hollywood Brown. I think he may be a little bit more explosive than Hollywood Brown, because, you know, Hollywood Brown had that screw in his foot and it kind of slowed him down a little bit. So what's working for Zay this year, this year is pretty much that he's not coming out of college with an injury. And he's very explosive. He's very fast. He's very skilled. He's very a home run hitter. He's can potentially be a number one wide receiver. He could potentially be the rookie of the year, potentially. You know, especially depending on how Todd Monken put him in and how many reps and how he works through OTAs. All that going to have to play a major part. You feel me? And I see a bright star in Zay this year. Like I said, I see him incorporated in a lot of part of this offense this year. Like I said, my only concern about Zay is built in his stature. You know what I mean? Is he going to be able to take a lot of hits? Is he going to be able to play a whole season? Is he going to be able to take big hits? You know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I understand, like, yes, it is grown man sport. It is put your big boy pants on and don't come on this field at all. But like I said, it's just the size and hopefully that is a different scenario with Zay than it was with Hollywood, because we had a lot of high expectations for Hollywood, for Greg Roman not to be pretty much a passing coordinator. Hollywood Brown had potential to have 100 receptions and 1,000 yards in the season. It was him that had a lot of drop passes. It was him that felt like he wasn't a big part of the offense, and he wanted to trade up out of here. So I think that this time around with us drafting Zay this year, and having Todd Monken, that it's potentially can be different. It can be a better turnaround and a better goal for Zay this year. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. But like I said, that him being the same stature, Hollywood Brown, man, hopefully we don't have the same results from Hollywood Brown. Hopefully that Zay was, play big, live up to the hype that we actually want him to live up to, and that's all we asking. We asking for you to show up. You know what I mean? Because Hollywood Brown had this big name, and he Hollywood. If you Hollywood, you're gonna have to play and make Hollywood plays, and that's where Hollywood kind of didn't show up, man. It was his route running, in my opinion. He didn't know how to get open. You know what I mean? Now, if the corner can pretty much press up on him and Hollywood got past him, by all means, Hollywood got past him, and that was dead. You feel me? And that's how I feel about Zay. I think there's going to be a lot of cornerbacks that see and respect his speed and agility, that he's not going to get pressed up on a lot. And when he does, I feel like the defenders know what to do. And I just need to make sure that Zay can get open. Because that's going to be the test this year is, can he get open? Lamar going to have to get players open. And if they can't get open, what do we do? You know what I mean? That's the whole main reason why we drafted OBJ, man, is we need to draft receivers that can get open. We need to bring receivers down that can get open. So hopefully that's what Zay can do, is get open, and he can not have that Hollywood feel that we already had. You feel me? So with that draft, man, I will give the Ravens a A-. You know what I mean? Right now, us drafting a receiver in the first round, man, this has been not a home run for us. Hasn't been all that good. So hopefully Zay can make that change, and it will be good for us. You feel me? Because we are looking for that. We've been searching and trying to find a receiving draft for the last couple of years. Hopefully Zay can be that guy. A guy we also drafted in the third round because we didn't have a second round. We gave up our second round last year to get Roquan Smith, which I believe that's a good second round pick in my opinion. But we also drafted Trenton Simpson from Clemson. This guy has a lot of upside, and this guy also reminds me of a guy that also is playing for the team that a player that we have already on the team, which is pretty much Patrick Queen. Now, from what it's looking like, and this is just going to be another conversation another time, it looks like this could be Patrick Queen's replacement, maybe. You know what I mean? Because he got the same similarities as Patrick Queen. He can run sideline to sideline. He got that speed. He got that speed enough to keep up with tight ends and running backs. He also played on a championship level team in Clemson. So he knows what it takes to actually to be that guy. And I honestly think in the next couple of years, especially if Queen don't get a deal done, that this is Queen replacement potentially. You feel me? And I think that's what the Ravens is pretty much looking at, is how Patrick Queen played this year. And then if Trenton Simpson can also live up to certain expectation, him being a rookie, that he's our guy in the upcoming years to come. You feel me? You already know that the Ravens has been searching and trying to find that next Ray Lewis. You know, and I don't think we will ever find that type of linebacker again. You know, there's always nice to say, it's always best to say that, you know, it's always that one of one. We will never get another Ray Lewis back on the field ever again. Ray Lewis was Ray Lewis. You feel me? And I think that's what the Ravens is having a hard time at once we keep drafting these linebackers, is we're searching for the next Ray Lewis, which we shouldn't. You know what I mean? That shoe for Patrick Queen, man, that was a little high for him, in my opinion. To try to put him in Ray Lewis' shoe, man, that's too high. And I think that's where Patrick Queen got lost at. It was trying to fill in Ray Lewis' shoes. And now that we drafted Trenton Simpson, I think that also that brings more depth. I'm not saying that Trenton Simpson can't be that guy that leads our defense. You know what I mean? Like I said, it would never be another Ray Lewis. But I just think that we already have that type of linebacker. But if we're not going to pick up Patrick Queen, fifth-year option, then this is the best option to go, is to now find his replacement. And there it is. So with that replacement, man, with that draft, I get him an A. Because like I said, if you're going to go young, you want to be cheap in that department, you did it. and I think that's a guy that going to live up to a good expectation, is going to live up to the hype that we are looking for. So Another linebacker that we also drafted in the 4th round is Travis Robinson from out of Ole Miss. Solid pickup. Pretty much like an edge rusher in my eyes. And we know we need edge rushers. You know, I mean, we need dogs on that edge, man, because lately, man, we Oway and I forgot the guy that we drafted last year. Even though he came in at the tail end of the season due to his injuries and everything, but that's where we also are lacking in is quarterback pressure. And I think that if we can find some type of way to get some quarterback pressure, man, that the Ravens defense can take that next step. We can also become that elite defense that we've been trying to become to be again. You feel me? We was already, our DBs is pretty much in the top 5. But when it comes to our edge rushers, we in like the bottom low, like to the basement floor. You feel me? And that's not what we normally be. Not with the history of Michael McCurry, Peter Boware, Terrell Suggs, and Elvis Dumerville. You know what I mean? And history shows that we always had great edge rushers. And lately, that's what we have been failing in. And hopefully that this guy, Travis Robinson, can take that next step and be our edge rusher that we've been looking for and that we've been needing. I most definitely think that was a solid pickup for us in the draft, man. And for that solid pickup, I give us a B in that category. Another draft in the 5th round was, I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, but Caillou Blue Kelly. He is a cornerback drafted out of Stanford. I like him. He has nice size, nice build, nice length to him. A real solid pickup in the draft. I'm sorry to Zay Williams, but I would have drafted Joey Porter Jr. If you're gonna go draft a corner in this draft, I personally wanted Joey Porter Jr. just because of us drafting cornerbacks in the 1st round. It has been silent. Marlon Humphrey, he has been our solid corner since we drafted him in the 1st round. You feel me? And I think that Joey Porter Jr. can be that solid guy on the other end of Marlon Humphrey. But sorry to say that now he's a Pittsburgh Steeler. And anywho, Steelers gets no love in this black and purple town over here. But I most definitely would love to pick him up. But with the draft that we got in Kelly, I'm hoping that he can bring that physicality and that size that he had brought in Stanford. And with that pickup, you know what I mean, I would like to give us an A on that pickup. Because like I said, we needed a corner. Our cornerbacks is getting depleted last season. And we've been having injury. We've been having light corners all year. It's looking like that Marcus Peters is not coming back this year. So far, you know, never know in the future. But right now, it's not looking like Marcus Peters will be back this year. And I think that the Ravens is their destination. I mean, they're thinking of you. We have to get a lot of corners. We have to be set on that back end. Like, yes, we understand like that front end is pretty solid with that front 7. But that back end, a little shaky, just a little bit, you know what I mean? A little bit now that we don't have Chuck Clark back there. Marcus Williams coming back after having, 5 interceptions last year, if I'm not mistaken. And Marlon Humphrey, we have to have another solid corner back there with Kyle Hamilton most definitely sliding to that slot. I mean, that starting safety role now that Chuck is gone. We need a solid corner to play the other side of Marlon Humphrey. And like I said, I would have wanted to draft Joey Porter Jr., but you know, Kelly, you got some things to do. We got some work to put in, man. And then also in the 6th and 7th round, the Ravens also drafted linemen, coming out of Oregon and coming out of USC. One of the linemen had tore his ACL on a pro day. All he did was pretty much lift weights. He didn't do no other drills at the combine, anything in that nature. But the Ravens always find diamonds in the rough. You feel me? And we always looking to beef up our linemen. Especially we had lost one of our linemen this year in free agency. So I think that picking up those two linemen late in the draft can most definitely help us in the future. Like I said, because the goal is and the whole thing is to keep Lamar healthy and to keep Lamar upright. And as long as we can do that, the Ravens will go far this year. And signing those two linemen late in the draft, I like to give us a B on that, because that's exactly what we're going to need, like I said, in the future to keep Lamar healthy. So, in all in a nutshell, man, I would like to finally grade us a B+ in this year 2023 draft, man. So shout out to the Baltimore Ravens, man. I think with all that being said, that the Ravens did a great job in reloading on that defense while getting another dynamic target for Jackson. While Baltimore doesn't have a ton of early draft capital, it was using the second-round pick for Roquan Smith in the trade deadline last year. I think that we still made a great impact in this year's draft. So with that being said, man, like I said, I give us a straight B+. You know what I mean? So if y'all think the Ravens should have got a different grade, most definitely comment at the on below and give me your opinion. What do you think the Ravens grade should have been, or what you think the Ravens offseason has been so far? You feel me? And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this podcast up, this episode up, man. And I greatly appreciate the GRYD Network for actually giving me this opportunity to actually talk about the Baltimore Ravens, man, because I just think that we should be talked about more. You feel me? And what more than a Baltimorean himself to actually able to do the show? You feel me? So shout out to the GRYD Network, man, and make sure y'all go and subscribe to the GRYD Network, as we have a dope network, man, because we have a lot of dope content around here, man. We have other different podcasts that y'all should go ahead and check out. And you have yours truly, My Thoughts, My Opinion Sports Podcast on this network. So, of course, you should go ahead and tune into this network, man. But for At the Bank, man, for all my social media platforms, please make sure y'all go follow them. They up here on the screen, but I'm going to go ahead and shout them out anyway. For my Instagram followers, At the Bank is @thebank_podcast. You feel me? For my TikTok followers, it's also @thebank_podcast. You feel me? And for my Twitter followers, make sure you follow me at @thebank_pod. You know what I mean? And when y'all see this logo, man, y'all see this guy with the hat, just make sure y'all hit that subscribe and follow. You feel me, man? And like I said, man, this is y'all host Dev, man, and I greatly appreciate it, man. Tune in next week as I give my opinion on, is the Ravens crazy for not picking up Patrick Queen 5th-year option? You feel me? So, like I said, man, it's been a pleasure me hosting this show for y'all, man. And as always, check us out.